Right? Yeah. How are you doing?
Well, I'm day by day. I mean, I have, you know, great support around me, which certainly helps. But, you know, every day I wake up and Dylan's not home, and it's just another empty day.
When was the last time you saw him?
When I put him on the plane to go to Durango on November 19th.
What was the last thing you said to him? What did he say to you?
Well, he was getting on the airplane, and I told him, "Come here, give me a hug." So he gave me a hug, and I told him I love him, and be sure that he texts me when he lands in Durango. Actually, to text me when he gets to Denver, because he had a layover in Denver. So he got on his plane in Denver and texted me he's on the plane, and then texted me when he landed in Durango.
You never expected that to be the last time you heard from him, right?
Absolutely not. I mean, you know, I had no reason to believe that, you know, anything would happen to Dylan while he was visiting his dad.
Are you surprised by all the support, by all the media attention, by all people, vigilantly looking, supporting you? Are you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised. I mean, you know, I've made a lot of friends over the years and have always had a good network around me. And really, it's more about Dylan. You know, people love Dylan. People don't want to see this happen, even strangers. You know, they don't. They're looking at Dylan as their child, and they don't want to see this happen to anybody. So the support is because, you know, this little boy is lost in this big old world, and people just want to find him.
What kind of boy was Dylan?
He was an awesome kid, of course. Just, you know, a happy kid. He was very humorous, had a great sense of humor, very curious, very smart. He could always make us laugh. You know, just very respectful. He always checked in. You know, he was just, when he said he was going to do something, he did it. He was, even at 13, kind of a kid of his word.
So, social media. What can you say about social media and the impact that it's having on this search?
Well, when Dylan first went missing, the next day, I contacted a friend of mine who blew up Facebook, and I look at it now and I'm just amazed. I mean, people from all across the country, all across the world are, you know, posting Dylan's face and his story, and it's just amazing to me. I mean, you know, I don't know how we would have gotten this information out there hadn't it been for, you know, social media and those who care, you know, to keep distributing his information.
When you read those comments, do you read those comments on Facebook?
I don't read every comment, just they're overwhelming and they're very emotional. But I've got people who kind of filter through and let me know, you know, the comments that I need to know.
How does it make you feel to know that more than 8,000 people are on Dylan's side, are looking for Dylan?
Well, I mean, I wish it was 3 million people, and I wish it would reach the person or people who have Dylan, but, you know, we're working on it every day, and, you know, the 8,000 people, 8,000 plus now, people who have liked his site, it just amazes me. I mean, I just appreciate everybody's willingness to take time out of their day, and even though it's just a point and click, you know, it really does make a huge difference in the search for Dylan.
Do you think social media can help you find Dylan?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the one of the best ways to get his face out there. Everybody nowadays looks at the internet for the most part. So, you know, as long as we just keep that information out there and people keep sharing and passing on to everybody else, you know, hopefully we'll have a break.
Long gone are the days of putting a missing kid on a milk carton. Now
Yeah.
it's just on Facebook, I guess, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I'm sure people look at milk cartons still too, but, you know, I don't, missing children who, I feel bad for all missing children, obviously, but, you know, I don't know how how they did, how parents went through this process, you know, a couple years ago, because, you know, it would be so difficult. I mean, we post flyers every day in businesses, and, you know, if you had to do that rather than getting the word out through social media, it would just make it that much more challenging. Now I know that everybody in the world is seeing Dylan.
I noticed that in the last couple of days, you guys are really kind of picking up your social media presence. And I saw posts something about this morning in the Southwest, posting stuff. They want people to share stuff around there. Like I saw people from Tucson sharing stuff. Is there a reason for that?
Not specifically. I mean, you know, he was in the Southwest when he went missing. But realistically, who knows where he is? I mean, you know, we don't know. So we're just trying to hit every area, every city, every state, every country, to get his face out there, because, you know, we don't know where he is. He could be anywhere.
Describe to me one of your days now.
Well, I mean, you know, every day I wake up and, you know, try to be productive in the search for Dylan, and, you know, whether it be talking to media or, you know, searching through his room to see, you know, what he did or didn't take. You know, I mean, there's not just a standard schedule to my day. At this point, it's just, you know, doing whatever I can to get the word out about Dylan.
What do you think happened to Dylan?
That's a hard question for me to answer, you know. I mean, I hope nothing horrific happened to him. I hope that, you know, he's out there okay. I know he didn't run away, and I know he didn't hitchhike. But other than that, I don't know what happened to Dylan. You'd have to ask, you know, his dad was the last one to see him, so maybe he could answer that question better than I can.
What's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is that Dylan's dad had something to do or knows something more than he's giving us information about. I wish he would talk to us. I wish he would, you know, I've always wanted to sit down with him and have some conversations with him so that we can get more information, but he won't do that. So, you know, we just have to try and search for Dylan without the assistance of him, and it makes it very difficult.
You don't talk to Dylan's father at all?
No, I mean, I try, but his responses are very curt and very minimal.
Why do you think that is?
I just don't think he likes the scrutiny, and I just don't think he can answer the questions that we have, that we need him to answer.
Did you have a working relationship with him prior to this?
Well, I mean, you know, we always had our differences. He always believed differently, and he always wanted differently. So, you know, I certainly tried to work through it with him, but, you know, it's very difficult working with someone who won't work back. You know, it's very difficult to work with or to be rational with someone who's irrational. And so, you know, when we had visitation issues and such, you know, we'd work through email, but we never had like a calling on the phone kind of relationship. I mean, the day Dylan went missing, he texted me. So it, you know, it was never an easy situation to work through, and I just feel like he is a very difficult person to work with.
Today's a big day.
Today's a big day. Today is the Dinner for Dylan benefit at Lewis Palmer High School, beginning at 5:30, and you know, we know a great many number of people that were our neighbors in Denver are coming down. So it's just amazing to see the outpouring of empathy and support through this community and many through Durango and everywhere else. It's amazing. Excuse me.
They say a mother's instinct is everything they know, everything about their child. What's your instinct? Do you think Dylan is alive?
Yes, I do. I mean, I pray every night that, you know, I've got a great many angels up there, and I pray every night that, you know, if they see him, to let me know. And I haven't heard from him yet. So I just, you know, I choose hope for Dylan, because, you know, as a mother, it's very difficult to deal with something like this. But, you know, I have no reason to believe that he's not, and so I will always choose hope for Dylan.
What's ahead?
Well, hopefully Dylan will come home soon. I mean, you know, every day I pray, and every day I wake up thinking this is going to be the day. We just have to keep putting the pressure on, and keep it in the media, and, you know, keep up with law enforcement and everybody else who's working on Dylan's case.
Explain to me what would happen, how you would feel the moment you see Dylan next.
I can't, you know, I've thought about that, and that's a hard, I mean, I would just hug him and never let him go. My oldest son, Corey, says that when Dylan comes home, he's going to sleep in Dylan's room on the floor and just spend every waking minute with Dylan, because we're never, ever going to let him go again. But, you know, my first reaction will be, of course, to hug him and tell him how much I love him and how missed he was. And then, you know, show him all the support and everybody looking for him, because the last thing I want is for him not to think that we are not looking for him. We will always look for him, and we will find him.
If Dylan was seeing this, what's your message to him?
I love you, buddy. We miss you so much. You know, we are looking for you. We are trying to find you. We're doing everything we know how to do in a situation like this, and just don't give up hope. Just, you know, we need you back. We want you back, and just be safe, and just keep up the faith with yourself, and know that we're always thinking of you.
Anything else you'd like to add?
The only other thing is, you know, the highway sign went up on I-25 in Fillmore, and I appreciate the company that put that up for us. It's a small step. We want to put them in more places, but it's a frequently traveled road, and with not knowing where Dylan could be, our hope is that somebody sees his face, and somebody may look over and see him in a car or a semi-truck or somewhere, and get some information that way.